So welcome back to my channel. Doing an update on the alijoz 400 and the piscifun chaos XS60. So in the comment section, someone asked me how to maintain your reels and stuff. I will get to that a little later. Today I'm just we're reviewing the two reels and how they work and how they've been performing for me and the pros and cons of these reels. So let's just start with the Chaos XS though. So I have this set up as a for flathead. It is more for in a surf fishing style. As you can see. So I got the black one, the 60 size. So the main line is 80-pound 8-strand Hercules braid. And the leader is 80-pound Berkeley big game leader material, and it's connected. You can see that. Let's see. But this is known as the PR bobbin knot. It's a very extreme knot. This is the knot that a lot of people use before hollow core came out. This is my version, my modified version I developed over the years. It's a very insane knot. I have tested this knot actually. We took it and we tied it to a Nissan Titan and pulled the Nissan Titan, and the knot didn't break, or it came unravel. It took a lot of time and effort developing this knot though. There's a little bit of glue at the end because we realized a while back this part would come unravel, so there's some glue. Let me go grab, I'll show you what kind of glue I use. So this is my favorite glue for rods. So I put a little glue at the end of every knot when I fused braid to leader material, and the material does not come off. This glue I use to glue on tips and stuff on my rods. So usually when I buy a rod, I'll actually take off the tips, the original tips, and I put on these heavy duty brass ones. Yeah, these ones you get from THK Fish on Amazon. They're very, very thick tips. That's how I set my rods. You see how thick those brass tips are. Very thick. The thing is, when you're using braid and stuff, they'll eat these the guide stuff over time, and like on regular guides, they'll get chewed up. So brass is a very good material for tips because it's a very soft metal, and the line will still eat at it, but it won't damage the line as fast as like other material. So what I have, the reel pair 2, let's see, is the Daiwa Beef Kitty casting rod. This is the 10-footer. 1440, 2-piece 10-footer. These rods are actually quite hard to get these days, actually. But I know a guy was able, my local tackle shop was able to order them. And I love these rods. These are such good rods, though. They're a light, very light rod. Because a very strong and light rod, they have very good sensitivity. These are actually made of fiberglass. And they have really nice handles and stuff. Very nice handles, very light. I love how it feels when you cast them. Amazing feeling rods. But they used to be like $50, and then they went up to $60. So went up like $10. So they're $65 out the door with tax. So get back to the reel. That's the only problem when the line is really tight. It's kind of hard to disengage it. That's the only one issue I have with the reel, is the release. When you have it very tight like that, it won't budge. So you have to push pretty hard just to get it released. So usually I'm casting with, I tested this reel out and I was using 4-ounce bullet weights. And we're casting about 100 to 150 feet out, which is pretty good because this is a pretty, we're using pretty heavy line. I use this for flatheads, so you might not get as far because I'm using this for flathead. Using live baits and stuff, and use like about a 1/4 pound bluegill or something. Might get maybe 50, 60, maybe 80 feet out in terms of the casting. It casts for the price, this is a very good reel. In terms of casting, it casts good. It doesn't cast as like really crazy good like an Abu Garcia Rocket or anything, or even a Shimano or a Daiwa. I wish if when the new generation comes out, which piscifun every year or so they'll come out with a new model. They really need to fix this part. It tends to be very stiff. The Abus are much smoother on these, for sure. So this switch really needs to be worked on, the release. So if this is under tension, like you're casting heavy weights and stuff, you have to use so much force to release it. And I'm feeling that if you cast heavy weights and stuff with this rod, with this reel actually, especially because a lot of the fishermen who use this reel are flatheads and fishermen and blues, catfish fishermen. They're using pretty heavy weights and lead weights and baits and stuff. So this needs to be worked on in the updated generation later on. But in terms, very good reel. We're casting. Let's see. Good. Let's see. Let's see. In terms of this reel, the tension knob on these reels, when you first use them, when you're setting up, you want to make sure you tighten this really tight, and then slowly back off to get the right amount of tension, so you can maximize your casting distance. So usually I find you tighten, this is a left-handed one, so you actually tighten it to the right side, so this way. The right-handed, you tighten it that way. So this one I realized you back off, you tighten it all the way, and you back off about a quarter turn, which gives us the best casting distance for a quarter 4-ounce lead weight. So yep, that is the updated on the piscifun Chaos XS60. Now I will do the piscifun alijoz 400. So on this one, I did the same setup, same 10-foot Dywall Beef Kitty casting rod, 1440. This reel performs much better, way better. Well, there's a difference on that one. That's about $50 reel. This is $120. I know there's a sale going on with piscifun and Amazon. I know piscifun sells their reel on Amazon, I think. The other day I was looking it up, and you can get this reel for about $116 out the door on Amazon with the sale. They're having a 10% discount plus the sale, so $116 out the door. I made it a little cheaper. There's a couple different models, and then $111 for another model. But I'm not sure the sale's still going on or not. So anytime this reel, when I took it out to use it, some fascinating stuff. Very interesting reel. This reel works really well for surf casting. So if you're a surf fisherman, or even if you do like striper fishing for big stripers, and you need long distance casting, this reel casts phenomenal. Very, very good casting. You get pretty insane distance with this reel. I was using 4-ounce weights on casting also, and it casts such a smooth casting reel. Being able to cast very long distance, this reel is quite difficult, I'll say, to bird nest actually, because the magnetic brakes on these are enormous. So yeah, still pretty much the same setup. 80-pound Hercules braid 8-strand. So if you're using braid, I would always recommend getting the 8-strand or higher. The 4-strand, I found that in a lot of braid is they're very abrasive, because it's not a very fine weave like in 8-strand. And I know collar core is 16 strands, so it's even a little smoother, but 8 strands pretty good. Yeah. Hercules braid, I get on Amazon. I always order the 8-strand. It's a very good braid actually. I have used the braid for 2 years in this setup style, and the braid didn't even fray very much for 2 years use, because I have this braid on a different rod. It's for my channel rod. We're channel fishing. And I have the 100-pound. I used the braid for 2 years, and I did very, very intense fishing with that setup. So I had like an Akuma Avenger ABF 6500 with the Ugly Stick 10-footer big water, and that was my favorite set for many years. And it cast such a had very good casting distance, insane casting distance, because I installed what's called a bionic finger or casting trigger on it. It's for surf fishing also. I know it's a lot. There was a guy who came out and he sold it on eBay, and they were like $10, but now they're much cheaper. They're like, you can get 3 of them for $10. Such a great product though. As you can see, the magnets on this reel is enormous, quite large actually. These are all neodymium, and that's one of the reasons why this reel is kind of hard to backlash or bird nest. Pretty insane. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 neodymium earth magnets. Rare. You can call them rare earth or something. They're not really rare. They're just harder to find in mass quantity. That's why they call them rare earths, but they're not rare. Let's see. A little tricky to put the one downside is these are a little tricky to put back on the side plate. There you go. So put this back on. Oh yes, this one has a spring. These are all spring loaded. So you gotta push it in. So this bar lets you loosen and tighten, and it's spring loaded. So you gotta push it in and then tighten. Let's forget about that. So this reel. So this reel has pretty large drainage holes. So because it was designed as a saltwater reel, so it has pretty large drainage hole. The only issue sometimes when you have very large drainage holes like this, and you're surf fishing, because you can use this reel for surf fishing from shore. It's that water and sand stuff tends to get in and can actually chew up your gear and stuff. When the sand gets into the gear, it chews it up and damages. So I could say is I could get some aluminum foil tape. It's they're using ductwork and just cover it up, and it's very hard for sand to get in if you cover these up, because if you look, the build quality of this reel makes it very hard for sand to get in. The gap is super very small. So just get a little, I wish they had like plugs actually, like little rubber plugs you can put in and plug these up. So hopefully piscifun next design they put little plugs you can just put in, plugs it up so salt water can't get in. Yeah, salt water and sand can't get in while you're using it, and then you just pull the plug when you're done and just drain it out. So this reel casting, when we're doing, I use the 4 ounce, which I love. I've used mostly 4 ounce and 2 ounce lead weight. With 4 ounces, you're hitting about 150 feet, so 50 yards out. You can go a little farther though, but because I'm using such a heavy weight also, and my rod is the size of my rod kind of limits the casting distance because it's only a 10-footer, and I'm not really surf fishing. I'm just using it for flathead. We're casting about maybe 80 feet out, really, a lot of time. And but if you want to, and you could use this reel for a surf setup. What I have on here is 80-pound Hercules braid, so it's a very heavy braid. Also, this makes it a heavier line, so it limits the casting distance quite a bit. But if you're using it for surf fishing, I'll say usually maybe a lighter braid, maybe like 50 pound braid, and you will cast very far. This reel, I know it can cast a football field with the right setup, and the right line, with the right line actually. This reel, the release is much better than the piscifun Chaos XS. And yeah, even under tension, it can release really easily. Yeah. It's a very fun reel to cast actually. It's quite heavy, so my arm got pretty tired after casting it for a while. So I think after like 6, 7, 8 casts, I was doing test casting with this reel. It's about 8 casts. My arm was getting pretty tired. So on these, you have the tension knob that helps slow down the reel, and the magnetic braking system. So on the tension knob, so when you first get this reel and you're testing it, make sure you want to turn this pretty tight. It's all the way in, left-handed, so this one tighten to the right, with the right hand tighten to the left. So you tighten it all the way and you max out your magnetic braking system. So this one you max out at 10. So on here there's 10. I found the sweet spot between like 6 and 4 on mine, and about you back off about, there's thread about 2 threads back. It's gonna be different for everybody. So, but the way you set it up is you make sure you tighten everything so you don't bird nest on your first cast when you're testing it out, and setting up the proper tension and magnetic braking for casting. So these reels are designed for rapid casting. That's what bait casters are designed for rapid fishing. This reel, I'll say the reason why this makes a very good surf fishing bait caster, because it has a bait clicker. So if a fish takes your line, you can hear that click. And I will say this reel, I think online, I think people will catch some birdie pick stuff with this paddlefish, sturgeon. So they definitely, you can use this catching shark and tarpon also. This one has 38 pounds of drag. So a little bit more drag though, a little slower reel than this is the 661 gear. There's the 811 gear. So definitely I wish people take this reel out and test it out on surf fishing setup. Very good reel. I know in the UK this reel would actually be a very good reel with surf fishermen, but they use conventional reel like the piscifun Chaos, but in the UK they call conventional reels or round bait caster multipliers, because it multiplies. Because the reason why they call them multiply is when you turn the handle, the gears multiply. So one turn to become 6 or 661, so it multiplies your speed of reeling in. And so I think that's what they told me. That's why they call it the multipliers. So this reel is actually, this reel if you ever get your hand on one, take it out, have fun with it. Definitely made for big game. See, the drag is, you can quickly tighten it very quickly to quickly use full drag, because full strike or something they call it. So max out the drag really quickly, just a couple turns. So this one, like this. So I know this reel 176 yards on this, 160 yards, yeah, 160 yards, 80-pound braid. So you can get a couple more yarded, at least another maybe 100 yards or so if you use like a 30 to 50-pound braid. If you want to go, definitely surf fishing with this reel is going to be phenomenal. If anyone who's a saltwater fisherman, buy one of these reels, take it out and go surf fishing with this. Very good, very interesting reel to use, very fun reel to use also. And okay, so yeah, that's the review. So one of the viewers on my channel asked me, oh hey, how do you maintain your fishing equipment? So one of the things I like to use is glycerin. So glycerin helps protect the plastic and metal from, like, because it's an oil, actually. It's an oil-based product. It's made of vegetable. This is vegetable based. I know there's petroleum based also, but I like you can use petroleum or use vegetable based. Doesn't really matter. And I used to use mineral oils on my rods and reels to preserve them, so from drying out in the sun or sun damage. But the only problem with mineral oil, after I use it for a while, it'll actually irritate the skin. So it took me a while, so I figured out that you can use vegetable glycerin, and it protects your equipment and also protects your hand also. It's a very let's see, using a little bit. So usually when you want to do this, you either rub in your hand and then rub it all over your equipment. But it's actually a very good moisturizer also, and won't irritate your hand if when you're polishing your equipment with this stuff. It's quite greasy. It's quite a bit of greasy product. So usually what I do is I'll put on my gloves and stuff, and I'll lather my rods and my reels up with this to protect them. And then I'll let them sit for like a day or even a week if I'm not in a hurry. And just cover it in glycerin, and I'll just take a piece of paper and after that, and I'll just wipe them down, and it doesn't leave any kind of greasy residue or anything. It's kind of like lotioning your equipment up, actually. And also it won't irritate your skin while you're like using your rod, because there's glycerin residue. Another good product I find is chemical guy, plastic. Let's see what it's called. Plastic protectant. See, I work on cars and stuff also. So this is a product. This is a very, very good product actually. They use this in automotive, and I have used this on my car. The plastic I use on my the dash on my car, the door, on the inside and outside. The plastic, when you put it on your car, you want to wear gloves. This stuff works is such a phenomenal product at protecting your plastic. Like, it'll protect your plastic for 6 months, and your plastic looks pretty much brand new and everything. And the uniqueness of this product is the UV protection. So it'll polish your plastic, make it look brand new, and also has UV protection, so like having sunblock on your plastic. Because these reels, a lot of these days, a lot of them are plastic also, plastic side cover and stuff. So having good protection on your reels preserves them, makes them look nice without them, especially saltwater corrosion, rust and corrosion eating away your equipment, eating away at the metal. So yeah, you put some like either glycerin. This stuff like $8. I think Chemical Guy, the plastic protecting, is like $16 though. $16 to $20 might have gone up in price since last time I bought it, but it'll keep your equipment really in good quality. But the Chemical Guy protectant, it doesn't. I had my arm. It doesn't seem to irritate the skin or anything. I know their products. I use a lot of their products, and once it dries and stuff, you can rest your arm on the plastic door armrests and stuff with the stuff on. It doesn't irritate your skin or anything. And you can put on your reels also. You want to put on the plastic around your reels, and even on the rods, especially rods that are like epoxy coated like this one. But glycerin works really good anyway. I like the glycerin better because some people might be sensitive to the product, might irritate their skin and everything. So these reels, at least once a year or twice a year. Some people, if you're a heavy fisherman, every 6 months you want to take these reels apart and clean them. So there's a specific way you want to clean these and maintain them. So when you clean these reels, you want to use rubbing alcohol, about 70% to 90%, but I prefer the 70%. Helps release, get off the old grease, and get like an old tube, take it apart, take the gears out, get some rubbing alcohol, and just in a toothbrush and brush off all the old grease, and put fresh grease in. The grease I like to use the most is, there's two type of grease. Let me go see if I have it. The grease I really like to use is the pen reel grease. This, I use this quite often. So let me move this out of the way. Yeah, I use this grease a lot, so that's why I buy a pound of it. So this grease, you only want to use it on the gears and the drag. So they have drag grease, but you don't really need to buy drag grease. This grease, you can use it for drag also, so it keeps the drag from seizing up. And you have a solid grease. A solid grease like this, and a liquid grease. So this used only for gears and drag. If you put on the spool thing or the spool shaft, it'll actually slow down your spool. So you only want to use liquid grease on the spool, but you want to use it very, very sparingly, very little. Less is more, so less is better also. So using very little of this stuff, because the thing about this grease, it'll slow down your spool a lot if you use too much. So just a little bit. Also, So this grease, you want to keep your spool in good health. So take a little bit of this and a little bit of paper, like a napkin or a paper towel, and you just polish your spool, because it's exposed to that's a part that's exposed to the environment, and salt water and stuff will eat away at your equipment over time. So that's one thing you want to do, is polish the metal on your reel so it doesn't get eaten away. I'll show you. So I have two reels here. So this one is actually polished with grease. That's what happens when you don't polish your reel with grease and stuff over time. It gets eaten away. This is polish with grease. You can use either one of these greases. Fine. You use the liquid grease. This is just a really generic one, like Pussy. But the pen grease is a phenomenal grease. This grease, I had reels that I grease with this product over 10 years ago, and the grease pretty much works the same. And these reels been sitting in the sun, they've been sitting in storage and stuff. I open them up, grease looks pretty much the same. It has like oxidized, but the grease pretty much still greasy and pliable and everything. For over 10 years though. And this grease I had on my pen senators. I greased about over 10 years ago. Open it up, so it looks pretty much the same. Just the grease will darken over time though. Yep. And this is one of my senators. This is my pen senator 111 or 2-aught. This has been greased with the pen grease. You can hear it nice and smooth. This one's all has been upgraded and updated. This one I bought for parts and stuff. This is what happens when you don't protect your equipment and neglect it. It gets all corroded and everything. So this one I was planning to polish it. Well, I already polished it with to get all the corrosion and stuff. I was planning to paint it actually. Yeah, I love these old pen center reels. These are just solid reels, but that's for another day. Yep. So that's about 40 minutes into the review, almost 40 minutes into the review. So let's end the review. So I hope everyone enjoyed my review on the product, and until next time. So I hope everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for watching.